welcome back to another episode of our live seasons where we talk about the raw and honest truth to navigating through the different seasons of life. I'm your host Wen, and if you have been loving the podcast episodes, please do leave a review of this podcast on whichever platform that you're on and let me know which topics are your favorite. Now, before we get into today's episode, I just want to say that I don't know if you can tell, I'm super excited just because this week's episode, it's a topic that I have been wanting to talk about, but just a little bit hesitant. But I feel like I'm now so much more ready to talk about it. And from the title, you guys probably would already know. And last week, we missed an episode just because I really needed the time to kind of like sit and recuperate before I come up with this topic. So thank you so much for being patient with me and waiting on this episode. But today is gonna be a good episode. I can already feel it. Okay, so let's get into today's episode, shall we? In this episode, I want to talk about something that, like I mentioned, I've been yearning to talk about, and that is the power of faith. And I know that in a lot of different episodes, I've been talking about how having faith in yourself or having faith in the universe is really important. But nothing in that, okay? And today, I want to dive deeper into my own personal journey, and it's quite recent, where I think my faith has constantly been tested, and now I'm just so freaking excited to be able to talk about it and share with you guys, and perhaps maybe kind of encourage you guys to also tap into your faith a little bit more and hold on to it, okay? So anyways, like I mentioned, it's a little bit hard for me to talk about it back then. It's because I feel like I've always wanted to keep things really general, and I wanted to get my point across without leaning too much into a specific religion or specific belief or teaching. I think as time passed, I feel like I also want to become a little bit more open about the things that have been really crucial in my life, or rather based on my life experience. And like I mentioned in this episode, I've always started out every episode with being really raw and honest with my journey, so here we are today. But keep in mind though, throughout this entire episode, I will be using words like God, universe, higher power, just to keep it really general, but you can apply it to any religion or any belief, any teachings that you believe in. This is a concept of life, and I find it really applicable to our day-to-day life. So it doesn't matter what you believe in, doesn't matter which religion you're from, you're all welcome to listen to this episode. And I think, kind of, like I always say, take everything with a pinch of salt, apply what resonates and live what doesn't, okay? So first things first, I want to start by sharing my own personal story when it comes to faith. So if you're here long enough, you know that I always believe in the idea of kind of really having a strong faith, whether it's your faith in your ability or just in a higher being. Like it or not, faith is what keeps us going, and that's something that I believe in general in life. Like, even when you look at people who are, whose time is ticking, and you will realize that a lot of times people would actually like kind of lean a lot into faith, or started to be closer to their religion, or just really believing in something, wanting to believe in something in hopes of like them being saved. Okay, so that is something that I think it's also a reason why people go through a lot of things that are supposedly really tough to go through. Faith is something that is what keeps us humans growing and stronger. Okay, so I've seen a lot of people, like I mentioned, like just entering depression or taking their own life because they simply lost faith. Okay, faith in what? Faith in humanity, faith in themselves, faith in higher being, and faith in a better future. They have lost all of this faith and also lost the faith in being strong. So this loss of faith is usually why people start to give up on themselves or on their lives, and they start to enter this really dark state of mind just because they no longer know what else to hold on to. And I have been in the phase where like I just really don't know what else to do. Like I really just don't know who else to believe in, and you just lost like your whole entire purpose in life. And that is when I think really faith is when like it's really important for you to kind of hold on to and be like, you know what, having a strong faith in whether or not it's yourself or the higher power or your ability to go through whatever that you need to go through, that is a saving grace. Okay, so like every one of you, like I mentioned, I have faced like the lowest of my life and also the highest of my life. So the highs, of course, we don't really need to talk about it, right? But the lows, oh my god, the lows of our life is the reason why our faith will start wavering. And how strong our faith is will be so crucial during this period of time where you feel like yourself losing hope, that everything that you ever loved or everything that you ever thought was gonna be forever was taken away from you. That is when your faith will be tested, your faith will start wavering, and it's very normal. Okay, let me tell you something. Through my experience, one thing I realized about us as humans is that we find ourselves not really needing faith when we're at our happiest, our highest moments. And that is facts, okay? But when you start getting really comfortable living life without faith, now this is where, like I said, the true test really comes, okay? When things seemingly are at their highest or you're at your highest, the next thing you know, and I swear by this, the next thing you know, you'll be experience your lows. It might not be the lowest of your lows, but it is still a low, okay? Depending on the situation, right? In that moment, it might be something that you just can't seem to comprehend or get out, like no matter how hard you try. You might be wondering like, oh my god, my life was at the high, like I was living such a great life for the past couple of years. Why is it now that everything seems to be taken away from me when things are just about to get good? This is why, okay? Because your faith, or the universe, the higher power, God, is trying to test your faith. And right now, this is where I am in my life, okay? If you've been following me since last year, everything about my life seems to be at its peak, right? I was at the peak of my career, I was at the peak of my relationships, I was traveling more than ever, I was meeting my people, the people that I really vibe well with, and I have never felt this pleased and happy with where I was, like mentally and physically, where I am. And guess what? As the year comes to an end, I started to see how my life was starting to crumble in every way possible, okay? It felt like everything was taken away from me. Almost everything that made me fulfilled and happy was ripped off of me. And I'm telling you, like, everything, okay? From career to relationships to eventually, of course, my faith was being tested. Imagine how shocked I was, like how frustrated I was, and how much I've cried ever since because of just this sense of loss of direction. I never saw it coming. Okay? And I felt abandoned. I felt blindsided by the universe. So I found myself comparing a lot of my journey to the people around me. Like, why does it seem so much easier for someone? But I am here, like, struggling to get my life together, struggling to go through day to day, wondering, like, why all this happening to me? What have I done wrong? Like, what's the point of giving me everything when you're just gonna take it back? So these are the conversations that I have with God, with universe, and be like, why? I was clearly pissed, obviously, not gonna lie. I think if you're in my position, or rather, if you're feeling the same as well, you would definitely relate to this, where you're just so pissed off. And I spent the 2 months or so just in so much discomfort and trying to get used to this, but I never ever got used to this feeling of discomfort, okay? I felt like a burden to a lot of the people around me. I felt like a failure to myself because I know my capabilities, and it was so disappointing. It was so disappointing to see myself just wallowing in like self-pity and just feeling like my whole entire life is crumbling and I can't do anything about it, okay? But even with all this, I still tried to pick myself back up, because I know that if I don't do it for myself, no one else is going to do it for me. So no matter how much support I had with the people around me, I'm super grateful for that. To see the lessons and to see the growth in myself, I have to do it for myself. Because why? Like I say all the time, you're living with yourself every single day. You can have people around you, but at the end of the day, you gotta live with yourself, right? From the start of your life to the end of your life, it's you that you're going to be living with. So you have to be pleased with yourself in order for you to just be able to see the lessons in life, okay? But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, everything like just flew by and I got so happy in an instant. It doesn't happen that way. It was more of like an everyday effort. It was really tough. I'm not going to lie to you. It was really tough. Small efforts, but slowly and surely I got better. Not completely, but better, okay? It was even to a point where I had to find the simplest things to be thankful for. Even, being proud of myself for waking up every single day and pushing myself forward. Being proud of myself for just really, bringing myself and having that intention to bring myself out of this state of just like, self-pity. Like, I knew that I could be better. I knew that I could do better every single day, and I wanted to be better. That itself was something that I was super proud of myself for and was happy and grateful for, okay? Finding little things to be grateful for, it may seem really silly, but honestly, it was the time that I really managed to kind of slowly bring myself back up again. So, like, I'm just really thankful for every single day that I wake up. I do not break down today. It was to this point, okay, that I was like, oh my god, I didn't break down today. Like, I am happy today. At least I get to do what I want to do today. I start to look at life a little bit more in a lens of gratitude. I always talk about this, to be grateful, but sometimes I'm human as well. Sometimes I do falter and be like, there are times that I'm just complacent and I don't be grateful. I don't see myself, appreciating little things in life. And this period of time really allowed me to appreciate so much more and to open my eyes up to like the possibilities of how life can just be so amazing, even if you have the most minimal things ever. Even if you don't have a lot in life, possessions wise, whatever, there is still so much things that you can actually be grateful for, and simplicity is really key. This is the period of time where I really realized that, okay, living a simple life, it's actually really easy. You just have to be contented with where you are and what you have, okay? Not always asking for more. It is not wrong to ask for more, but at the same time, you have to ask with the thought of being grateful, okay? So like I said, I'm sure you all have days like that as well, right? Where you just don't feel like it. You get up and you keep pushing through the days. But sometimes you just can't help but break down. It happens, right? We're all human. Sometimes no matter how hard you push, and sometimes it's because you push so hard that you need an outlet to kind of break down, to let yourself release off of this like negativity and just cry, okay? So I was there. I feel you, I understand. I was so tired of being tested, getting stripped off of any and every opportunity that was seemingly, going my way, but just didn't happen. It just disappeared halfway. Every time things start to feel a little bit better, the next thing you know, I feel like I'm back to square one. Okay, as much as I was trying to get myself back up on my feet, I kept getting knocked down by what seemed to be yet another test. So I think this is when it is really like the lowest of my point, where I was just like, oh my god, why? Just as I thought things were getting better, the universe or God was saying, nope, this is when I'm going to test you again. Nope, this is not for you. Nope, you're not having it. And I'm just like, why? Like, it's so freaking frustrating. And I'm sure a lot of you can actually understand and also like, feel it as well. You might be in your face in your life right now where you're just in this stage of like, oh my god, you're so right. I don't get what I want. Every single time I feel like I'm so close, and just get stripped away off of it. And this is when I think this episode will really help you, just because it has helped me a lot, my perspective on things, and I'll share a little bit more about it just in a bit, okay? So everything happened all at once, and I mean, like, I've experienced things that are going my way, but suddenly it just didn't, okay? All at once. And this was also the time I found myself searching for my faith more than ever. I started to tap into my faith more than ever, and this was life-changing, okay? I started to rebuild my relationship with the universe, with God, strengthening it, okay? It was not easy because there were a lot of times that I just felt like giving up and be like, screw it, like, I am pissed. Why are you not giving me what I want? This entitled self? Very familiar, and I'm sure all of you have this self, and I'm not ashamed to say it, because it is true that I have this entitled self where I'm just like, I need to get things where I want it to be. I want this, and so I will have it, right? And sometimes this might just backfire. It's as much as it's good to have that confidence in yourself, sometimes when you are faced with situations that are really tough, this might backfire. This thought and this sense of self-entitlement might backfire, okay? So but what changed everything for me, like I said, was a couple of verses that I remembered from a book or podcast that I've just been reading while I was trying to feel better. And I want to share them with you. And hopefully these verses, or rather these phrases, will actually help you too, okay? So the first one that I want to share is something that I came across. And this verse is, and we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and a loss of wealth and leaves and fruits. But give good tidings to the patient. So simply put, we will definitely be tested by losing everything in our possession, and only when we are patient is when the things will start to pick up for us. This gave me so much strength to know that, the test of my patience and my faith is really important, and it's really important for me to quote unquote pass that test, right? Especially for someone who has been constantly talking about, trying to be more patient, trying to really have trust and have so much faith in your ability and in a higher power, and to know that everything will be taken care of me. This was when I was reminded again that, whatever that I've been talking about on our Life Seasons podcast is something that I am still embodying every single day. Sometimes I may do forget here and there, but this quote itself really got me thinking, okay? And I repeat this quote. And we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and a loss of wealth and lives and fruits. But give good tidings to the patient. So the whole concept of this is to have patience, okay? No matter how much you have lost, whether it's you have lost people in your life that are super important to you, that are really dear to you, or you have lost like, your living, which is basically your job, or if you have lost, a sense of identity, doesn't matter what type of loss you have, the key here is to have patience, because then good things will start happening to you, okay? And this was a good checkpoint for me to see how much I've actually grown. And let me just tell you, it won't be used to say like, okay, I'm patient, give it to me now. Because this is where it's completely opposite of what patience and having faith is, okay? And like everything else, there is no way in cheating your way through feeling better or convincing yourself that you have accomplished something that you have clearly not. And guess what? The universe or God is not gullible, okay? You can lie to yourself and the people around you that you're feeling better, that you're more confident, that you are holding on to so much more faith now, that you're much more patient, but not to a higher being, okay? They will call you out. So until you have actually learned the lesson, whatever that is, you have to keep facing these tests, okay? These tests just bound to happen. He will keep testing you until you decide that, okay, I have really learned to be patient, and that is not on you. That is on him to determine whether or not you have actually been really patient, okay? Now, I want to share the second verse that I really love. I test only those I love. This I love, and whenever I read this, I'm just like, wow, there's just so much beauty and peace and calm when it comes to this, knowing that you will only be tested because you're so loved. You're so loved by universe, by God, by the higher being. You're so loved, okay? Something we know is that the higher the risk, the greater the reward, right? So same for the test of the universe. The tougher it is to actually kind of go through it, the bigger it is that your reward is when you reach to good tidings, right? And I talk about this in season 1 episode 41. The more painful the hardship, the more reward of or growth do you actually experience, okay? And I believe that when God loves you, he tests you in ways that you'll never be able to comprehend unless you tap into your faith. And faith is the only thing that will keep you going and allow you to go through all these tests over and over again. Every single day, like during this period of time, you may feel like you're being tested. And what keeps you going, I will say it again, is your faith. So the last verse that I kind of want to share is, what is meant for you will reach you even if it is beneath 2 mountains. And what is not meant for you will not reach you even if it's between 2 lips. I'll repeat that again, okay? What is meant for you will reach you even if it's beneath 2 mountains. What is not meant for you will not reach you even if it's between your 2 lips. Which essentially means that whatever that is meant for you will not pass you by, okay? Everything that we're destined to have, the people, the job, the opportunity, the material possession, the situations that we find ourselves in will not miss us. You are right where you need to be, okay? You are right where you need to be. Like it or not, you may not be comfortable in it. No one promises you that whatever situations that you're put in, you'll always be comfortable, because that's where growth don't happen, okay? So you may not be loving where you're at, but you're exactly where you need to be, okay? So, as much as we always think that we know what's best for us, we don't. Okay, we will never know what's best for us, and that's something that I always believe in. We can think that, okay, this is something that I want, this is something that I need, but it might not be something that is good for us. And who knows what is good for us? The higher being, the universe, God, okay? So this is something that I really hold to myself, and I hope that you'll be able to hold closely to you as well, is that whatever that you want and whatever that you desire, if it's meant for you, it will come to you. And if it's not, trust that there will always be something better for you. There has to be a better plan, okay? And who knows this better plan? God. So remember, nothing happens to us except for what the universe or what God wills for us, okay? So after a couple of instances with these verses, that is when I actually really started to let go. And I hope that these few verses, listen to it time and time again, replay it all over again, because it will really help you to start to let go, learn to feel like, you are actually okay, that you will be okay. I allowed myself to cry whenever I wanted to. I no longer beg and pray for all this to go away. Instead, what I do is that I understood that it actually serves a purpose. This situation that I'm in serves a purpose. No matter how painful it is, it serves a purpose. And I started to pray for the ease on this journey. I started to pray that, may God or may universe open up my heart to see the lessons in all of this and to make it easy for me. Okay, I know it may not sometimes be easy, but at least just ease this pain a little bit and to strengthen my faith, to strengthen this belief that, everything will happen when it needs to happen, okay? So instead of stressing myself out with the things that I can't control, I focus a lot on just doing my best and dedicated the rest to my faith, or rather to universe, to the higher being, to whoever that you believe in, okay? And I have more frequent conversations with the universe or with God right now, choosing to see the good that I was still experiencing in my life despite all of the things that were quote unquote not happening the way I want it to be. Then I realized that, I really needed to, like I mentioned, be so much more grateful for whatever that I have. Because if you can't be grateful for what you already have, what makes you think that you can be grateful when you have more? Okay, it doesn't work this way, okay? I realized that, there's just really a lot of things that I can be grateful for. Like the strong support system that I have, the ability to really just be able to use this time and slow down and appreciate Mother Nature. Like, I have the time to be able to work on my passion, to think about what I want to create for OLS. The immense love, support, and knowledge that I gain or I've received from the people around me. They are so genuine when they want to see me like really grow. They are such genuine people. And I can tell you, this period of time where it was as much as I was struggling, I've met so much, like so many people that have actually really like, it feels so genuine. They just really want to see me grow on my own journey, and they just really want to be happy for me. And that's something that I've never actually experienced before. So I'm very grateful that, when I started to open my eyes up to be like, okay, there has to be a bigger meaning, there has to be a bigger purpose as to why I'm going through this. I started seeing all this. I started seeing the love. I started appreciating people even more. I started appreciating Mother Nature even more. Like if you're always looking and wondering for, what are the signs of a higher being or universe or God or whatever, let me just tell you, I have these questions a lot as well. And just look around you. Whatever that is happening around you, it don't happen by chance, okay? It is there for a reason. You are sitting here listening to me for a reason. You're commuting listening to me for a reason. This video or this episode found you for a reason. Perhaps this is something that you've always been questioning, like, oh, why? Like, is there even a higher being? Let me tell you, in my opinion, yes, there is. Because everything that happens, just think about everything that happened in your life. It didn't happen by chance. When you're looking back at the things that really was tough for you to experience, looking back at it, you will always be like, I'm so glad it happened. Or rather, even if you don't feel like you're glad that it happened, you will always say that it brought me so much more like growth. I've grown so much from that, right? And this is the whole purpose as to why you have to go through tough times. Because if you are constantly just going through the good times in your life, then what's the whole purpose of you just living, right? You will never be able to grow. It will just become mundane, okay? So there is this duality of life, and I always talk about this. There has to be duality. For you to be able to feel good, you need to feel the bad to know what is good. For you to be able to feel excitement, you need to feel fear, right? So these are the things that you kind of need to feel and really balance it out. So I started to learn how to embrace like the uncertainty and face challenges with grace and patience, simply because like I trusted there was a bigger purpose to it, okay? I was able to feel this sense of like ease when I surrendered. And from my heart, I started to say that it's okay. I trust and have faith that I will eventually get to where I want to be and to wherever that is good for me, okay? I started to release a lot of, the ideas of where I need to be, the type of job that I need to have, the people that I need to meet. I started to release all of this, let go of the control, and be like, I'm just gonna live the best life that I live every single day, go to bed happy, waking up happy, and I'm just gonna do my best. That's it. It's not that hard. As much as it sounds easy, I know we complicate things. As humans, we complicate things and we make it so tough. But trust me, when you really learn to have patience, have faith, and just let go of control, it's not hard. You start to realize that life isn't that bad after all. Even though the surroundings or the situations that you're placed in may feel like, oh my god, everything is crumbling down, but guess what? You would still have this sense of solitude and peace within yourself and ease to know that it's okay. Things are happening the way it is. And I'm excited to see what's gonna happen tomorrow. Okay? Have this fine mindset, because right now I'm at this stage where no matter the chaos around me, I am sitting here and I'm so passionate about this because it really actually works for me to be able to sit here and be like, I'm so strong in my faith more than ever now. And just understand that there is a better plan for me. It might not be the plan that I thought I was gonna be on or like be having, but it's definitely gonna help me. And that's a strong faith from my heart deep down, okay? It's not something that is from my head, but from my heart, and you can really feel that when you get there. Takes time, okay? Don't rush it. Takes time. I'm still going through it, obviously, but one day I do believe that, when I look back at the moments like that, I will really realize how much this is needed for me to be where I need to be, okay? I will always look back, or rather you should always be looking back at your tough times and be like, oh my god, I have accomplished so much. Okay, I've gone through so much that makes me so much stronger. And moving forward, I will definitely face with a higher, like I mentioned, new level, new devil. I would definitely face with things that I feel like I can't control. I just really can't go through. But if I can do it and I have strong faith, that is when I'm gonna do it. Okay. So I hope that you kind of find solitude within yourself too, and you find ease in this episode, amongst all chaos as well, and literally replay the verses if you need to, the 3 verses that have really really helped me. And I hope that this episode kind of really helps you to understand that if you just learn to lean into your faith a little bit more, whether it's faith in yourself, in a higher being, whichever religion that you're from or whatever that you believe in, if you learn to live into faith and really just have patience and trust that you are right where you need to be, you don't have to rush it, you don't need to be somewhere else, enjoy the process, that's when things will start becoming easier. Okay, so that's all for today's episode. Get into our community for the extended version of this episode, because I'm going to be talking a little bit more about how to take back control of your life, how I actually eventually got to where I am right now at this stage of solitude, and this will be in the community itself. So the link to the community will be in the show notes, and I'll see the rest of you guys in the community. Bye.